Okay, people. This is just a short little video. Do you see how I'm frying my eyes in here? Got a light on there, light up in here, light up over there. And I'm working on this paperwork. Okay? I'm going down a memory lane I don't want to go down. But you know what? People, I will never drop the ball on my family. I will never drop the ball on Uncle John. I will never drop the ball on Sierra. I will never drop the ball on ShaMay. I will never drop the ball on Amari. I will never drop the ball on Andre. Nobody in my family. Absolutely nobody. But the reason I turned on this camera is because, you know, I'm photocopying this stuff out for this lawyer, right? To look. She's just looking. Right, she hasn't figured out what she's going to do yet because she hasn't had a chance to look at anything. So, I'm doing what I'm doing here. Okay, we know what I'm doing. I just had a pair of glasses that I could kind of read with. So eyes are so messed up you don't even know. But that's not why I turned on the camera. The reason I turned on the camera is because I just want to highlight how the police, the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in the province of British Columbia, Canada, who namely work in the Surrey district, in the district of Surrey. Okay, and you know, birds of a feather flock together, but because whatever happened to ShaMay isn't isolated to the Surrey Memorial Hospital in terms of illegal organ harvesting, okay, and murder by design, so those organs come in on demand. Yeah, fucking right. Now, that's, you know, that's not what I'm fighting for here, per se, as I'm giving this information to the lawyer, but it's important that the lawyer understands fully what's been going on. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to wear these god-awful things. Hopefully I'll be able to read this. It's only 3 pages. Because this is what some 6'4" motherfucker RCMP showed up with his buddy 6'5", sort of like that 6'7" babyface cop that was guarding the door with Sierra. Yeah, they say that these reptilians are really, really, really tall. These shapeshifter reptilians are really, really, really tall. Well, that's what walked through my door that investigated ShaMay's murder. It took them 3.5 weeks to show up at my house, people. And I had to hound them to do it. Because they didn't want to do it, because they knew what they did. Mm-hmm. Like I said, that cop cued Julian Johnson. Mm-hmm. So that the paramedics could load her up in a freaking hammock with their perfusion machine. Mm-hmm. As Julian Johnson was in ShaMay's bedroom. Yeah, right, motherfucker. Whatever. I can't even read with these stupid things. Fuck. Let's try these ones. So, after they did their fake investigation, this is what they came back with in terms of their conclusion. They said that ShaMay committed suicide. I said, no. Tisha said, no, there's no way. Why are you saying that? I asked them. Oh, because in her medical records, this is what I'm working on here right now. You see my table? See all that? Okay. In her medical records, it says right here, and because I already had a copy, right? Or no, I don't know when I got this. I don't think I got this before they showed up. But they said in her medical records, it said that she was suicidal in 2013. I said 2013. She was murdered in 2018, people. Oh, yeah, March of 2013. Oh, I said, yeah, we were all suicidal in this house, people, because Andre was illegally apprehended in January 15th of 2013. And by March, MCFD fucking social workers, they told Tisha they couldn't see, and ShaMay they couldn't see Andre anymore. Cut off Sierra, cut off the girls. I just didn't go, people, because I wasn't about to upset Andre. I told you, I refuse to see Andre, because children, when they're very little, have no concept of time. Just going in and out, and they're crying for you as you're leaving, and they want to go. That's how you build in that parent alienation, parent separation. So I just never went. But Tisha did, ShaMay did, because they had healthy relationships with Andre. Of course, Sierra went, right? But the social workers, they didn't like that. So no, they just found excuses just to turn around and say, no, your visits are canceled. Got it on video, people, with ShaMay talking about it and stuff. Me talking about it. Okay. We were all suicidal because of what those people did to us and what they did to Andre and what they created with Sierra. Okay, so anyway, you know, ShaMay was in school, pulling in honors, people, through all of this, even though she was having a freaking nervous breakdown. Okay? And I don't know. I guess it just got to her. So I took her to the hospital. Okay? Right? And of course we came into a Punjabi doctor, called herself a psychiatrist or something, and she wanted to, what she did is she did her little assessment, right? And then prescribed ShaMay some sort of antidepressant. Because they wanted to get her on drugs early. You see, that's the thing. That's what they do. They like to get these kids on drugs early. Right? Instead of dealing with the problem in terms of the illegal apprehension of a happy child and the destruction of a family, the doctor just wanted to mask it over with their drugs. Guess what, though? I advise ShaMay not to take them, people. I told her it was unnecessary. There's the prescription right here. It was never filled. Okay? So, Tamika Johnson, fuck yourself. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. When you come in with your little, oh well, yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm the one sitting here with the legitimate paperwork, okay? Not you. You just conniving trying to figure out how to cover your fucking ass. Because we know what you did. Julian didn't kill ShaMay by himself. He had help. And the cops failed to do their job. Yep. Because they chose to go into ShaMay's medical files back into 2013 and pick one of the most vulnerable times of her life and use that against her to cover their asses and their buddies' asses so that they can continue to illegally harvest organs, basically, and capitalize off of it when they're not doing snuff movies. And collecting their adrenochrome or whatever else they're doing behind closed doors with 6'7" baby-faced cops guarding the door as the family's standing out in the porch in the rain. Yeah, okay. And they let the criminal, the one under suspicion of murder or foul play, to identify the body. But they deny the mother and the brother and the sister to do it. Yeah, okay. There's your RCMP, your Royal Canadian Mounted Police. What do you think about that? So anyway, I'm just going to read this because this is what they used to drop the ball. Because they were more interested in keeping up with the status quo. Ching ching, ching ching, body number 2000. I'll read this. She went in on March 9th. Yeah. 2013. And I bet you I could correlate this around the time when those social workers with MCFD canceled the appointment, the visiting time with Andre. Because they were fucking with everybody's head. They wanted us to implode. They wanted us to feel suicidal. They were hoping we'd go off and do drugs and drink and kill each other. That's what they were hoping for, because then they could put Andre up for adoption and get their fucking bonuses, okay? As they were teaching him to be a girl. Yeah, literally. Okay. Anyway. All right. Patient identification. This was written on March 9th of 2013. ShaMay is a 17-year-old youth living with her mother, Judy, 2 siblings, Tisha and Sierra, as well as another brother who attends college. She goes to Colotland Park Secondary because she was in school when they took Andre. Right? And is in grade 12. And she passed with honors, people. She was at the top 10%. And that was depressed and suicidal. Also, in the house is her step-grandfather, that would have been Uncle John, who was depressed and feeling suicidal. ShaMay enjoys a variety of activities, including working out regularly, researching different topics, because she loved school, because she had a high IQ, and playing the piano, to which she taught herself how to do, and to read music. Reason for referral. ShaMay presented to the emergency room with feeling extremely anxious, overwhelmed, and having suicidal thoughts. She was referred for a psychiatric consultation. So we go to the emergency room, and then they hook us up with a Punjabi psychiatrist who prescribes her with antidepressants, to which the prescription is in my binder. I told ShaMay, you don't need to start drugs, right? You know, it's okay. People go through those emotions. We all go through those feelings. Everybody in the house is feeling like that. You're not the only one. You know, you just stay focused on school, you know, right? You'll get through it. And she did. Until she met fucking Julian. History of presenting illness. ShaMay and her mother, Judy, were both interviewed. ShaMay wanted her mother, Judy, to be a part of the interview. I did not meet with ShaMay on her own. ShaMay and her mother described extreme conflict and psychological stressors over the last several years. However, the trigger for this current episode was ShaMay's nephew being apprehended from home. They gave some background that ShaMay, her sister Tisha, and her mother had been heavily involved in taking care of their nephew, Andre, Andre's mother, Sierra, has had significant difficulties with drug use, and this resulted in the ministry apprehending Andre. That's not true. That's not true, people. They took Andre because they illegally kicked out Sierra from her home on December 10th of 2012 for not coming home in a timely manner, and we were getting kind of tired of babysitting, but she wasn't doing drugs, people. I have her on video in park events and outside of businesses, looking good, being healthy, participating, nothing like a fucking drug addict. Nothing like they turned her into a fucking drug addict, people. Even in Andre's medical files, they're misleading. Sierra has had significant difficulties with drug use, which is true, but for 28 months, she did really good when Andre was born, not to mention the 6 months when she went on methadone for the last 2 trimesters of her pregnancy. So 28 months plus 6 months is how many months? 34 months? She was doing really good until she got kicked out in the middle of the night and was told that if she came home, the social worker was going to come in here with some cops, RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and take Andre. So Sierra didn't come home. And then within 10 days, she turned into a fucking junkie. Who wouldn't be depressed? And this resulted in the ministry apprehending Andre. The gist of the presentation was that the mother, Judy, ShaMay, and Tisha have been extremely angry and resentful with the ministry being involved in taking Andre and apprehending him. Yeah, no kidding. Right? Okay. Apprehending him. They also voiced their frustration at the way the ministry has been treating ShaMay and her sister Tisha, and have been interfering with the visitation. Yeah, I told you, right? To meet with their nephew. ShaMay reported that she often feels overwhelmed when she is unable to meet with him or see him, because they started canceling appointments. They were doing their mindfuckery. To keep that cortisol going, to implode the house from the inside, to get everybody arguing, right? As the landlord's not fixing shit, so that we argue even more, right? I'm just saying. In addition, there are some other stressors in ShaMay's life. With regards to her mental health functioning itself, she reported that she has been experiencing low mood, suicidal ideations, feeling easily frustrated, and irritability for a number of years. Okay? You have to remember, we had Auntie Joan move in, right? And of course, before Sierra got pregnant, she was a meth addict. And then, tried to get her on the methadone, but it never really stuck with her until she got pregnant with Andre, and then put her mind to, stop drugs altogether by 3rd month. She stopped and just went on the methadone, and that was it. Okay, but prior to that, it was 6 years of fucking hell with the methamphetamine, right? And then it went into the heroin because, you know, our government brought in the heroin to calm down a lot of tweakers from the methamphetamine. And then they introduced their methadone, to which, you know, that was hard to get Sierra on until she got pregnant, right? Okay. And of course we moved, you know, we had issues with the grow-op there in the fourplex, and, you know, Joan moved in with, you know, her issues, and, okay. She believes that she started to feel low mood around the age of 12. So, at the age of 12, what was going on then is she had this native friend named Alana, same age, that, I don't know, people, she liked to drink, do drugs, just what, well, I don't know if Alana was really doing too many drugs at age 12, but definitely was drinking. Oh, age 12. And ShaMay wanted to rescue her. Right? This girl, her mother asked me to look after her for a while when I was living at Gateway Place. But that's another story. Anyway, you know, there's history with Alana and ShaMay. And ShaMay always liked to try and play the rescue role. But there was issues around that, right? And then eventually what happened was Alana ended up back here in and around that time because, again, she needed a place to go and nobody wanted to take her, but they were going to put her into independent living, right? Because they couldn't house her anymore in any foster care homes and stuff, right? Because she was so raunchy. And they needed housing for her until they could get her own independent living. So, of course, ShaMay asked me if Alana could stay, and I let her stay. And she ended up stealing a whole bunch of stuff when the social workers came and got her. But the point is, ShaMay couldn't understand how Alana could be so bad, like drinking herself to the point where she'd get alcohol poisoning, and ShaMay would be, like, taking her to the hospital so that, you know, to have her stomach freaking pumped out and all this other crap. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I suppose maybe when she got a little older, maybe she was doing something, I don't know. But anyway, Alana was stalking ShaMay at age 12 after I had her leave the apartment. Oh, it's just, it was such a troublemaker, I'm telling you, you don't even know. I should never have opened up my house. But when they're 12, you don't know, right? I should have just said, no, I live in a 3-bedroom apartment. My house is full. I can't take on no kids. But her mother was crying, oh, she got no place to go. She, you know, her ShaMay's best friend. And, you know, please, 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 please. Oh, my God. And I guess Alana taught ShaMay how to play that pass-out game at age 12. And then, I don't know, shit started happening. I had to have her leave. And then she started stalking ShaMay. So yeah, ShaMay got fucking depressed because she wanted to be in school, but she had to leave school because Alana was stalking her in the fucking school. Because the natives out here, they can go to any school they want at any time. And the schools, they can't refuse them, right? And so Alana wanted to be in the school that ShaMay was in, and even though she didn't even live in the freaking district, just so that she could stalk ShaMay. And ShaMay didn't like it. She was getting scared with it because it was just way too crazy. And so she came home. And because ShaMay had high IQ, people, she got moody. Fucking right. Because she wanted to be in school. But she couldn't be in school because as soon as she went into the school system, Alana would fucking follow her and sign up. And start roaming the fucking halls, doing a Tamika Johnson. That's what Tamika Johnson did when ShaMay went to CDI college. ShaMay goes to CDI college. Next thing you know, Tamika's running around in the fucking halls. Signed up to be a social worker, only eventually she got kicked out because she was selling fucking drugs. The point is, ShaMay had this knack for attracting freaking stalkers. Like, literally. So it depressed her. Because she couldn't go to school. Because as soon as she'd register in a school, and if Alana found out, that would be it. Alana would show up the next day, register, and be wandering the halls chasing ShaMay. Okay. At that point, she gave some history of a falling out with a friend. Yeah, Alana. I'm fucking right. See, I don't even have to read this to know. I already know because I lived it, right? It just confirms what I'm saying here. And having to change schools. There you go, man. I never read this, okay? Because it fucking upsets me, people. Like, you don't even know. I'd like to put sleeping dogs to rest. I really would. But I can't. I can't until I get some justice. And the swamp needs to be cleaned out. Yeah. Schools. More than one. History of a falling out with a friend and having to change schools. She also admitted to some aggressive behavior at that point because she was what, 17, acting out, okay? You know, between the ages of 12 and 17, 18, you know, they're rebellious and you know, they act out, right? You know, they get cheeky with you and, you know, they think they know everything and, you know, they're easy to manipulate, so, you know, just whatever, right? Like, most kids are like that. It's to be expected. That's why I laugh with Tisha, right? I'm like, ha 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 ha. You got it easy right now. They're little. Well, wait till they get bigger, Tisha. Your turn's coming. And then you'll understand what I went through all these years and what I still go through. I'm serious. Only I won't be here to see it, right? I'll be gone by that point. But I know it's coming because little ShaMay's already cheeky. And little Kyrie can get cheeky too, right? And they're just little. Okay. Looking particularly at depressive symptoms, again, she mentions a low mood on and off with extreme negative feelings. Wow, I wonder why your happy house got turned upside down. Right? You go to school and you come home and you find out that your nephew has been illegally apprehended from a daycare after you were lied to and tricked by a fucking social worker. And then to turn around and see your sister go off on the deep end after she did good for over 34 months. 3 years. She was doing good for 3 years and then all of a sudden she was the fucking junkie of Surrey. All in the space of 10 days. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. As the social worker now is playing mindfuckery with these kids going with their visits. Negative thoughts and generalized worries. She also reported low energy levels, disturbed sleep. Well, that's all normal, considering what we were going through, right? Mainly initial insomnia. Well, that in itself, with people with high IQs, is normal for people with high IQ. Where the issue was, is ShaMay was young and she hadn't quite learned to control whatever was going on with her body because it was still growing. The mind develops up until age 25 or so before it goes into the next stage of development, right? And people with high IQs can function with 2 or 3 hours of sleep every day once they get to that point and they accept who they are, what they are, and they just fucking deal with it. ShaMay was not that point yet, though, right? You know, she was still emotional, and, you know, her emotions were being played on, right? And intermittent insomnia. She reported her appetite to be adequate. She also reports ongoing suicidal ideations with no plans or attempts. Again, every single person in this house felt like ShaMay. And it went on for months. I went to court 22 times fighting for Andre over a period of 15 months, people. As we watched Sierra deteriorate. And as hard as we tried to help her, nothing worked. And in the end, the social workers, they ended up using Sierra against us. And we had to sacrifice Sierra for Andre to come home. And even then, we still tried to help Sierra. But by then, it was too late. And that's why those social workers did that shit, because they knew it. Oh. So yeah, get mad. You don't think I don't fucking feel suicidal right now in this fucking day and age that I go through every damn day with this shit going on and with my landlords? Well, you gotta get everything out of the house. Sell everything for $2 or just throw it out. You know, get rid of it. You know, you'll be happy. Yeah, okay, I'll be fucking happy, right? So wish me into an early grave. Yeah, okay. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Where's that shit coming from, people? People didn't talk like that fucking 15 years ago. No. 15 years ago, you could rent a house. Now, they're keeping them empty, and the only ones that are renting it are these fucking immigrants coming into the country that are being subsidized by the governments, more than one. Municipal, provincial, and federal. Through their little programs. With their non-profits or whatever. And they're doing it in the States too. Oh yeah. Who wouldn't be depressed? Huh? Who wouldn't be depressed? And with depression, what comes? Well, you want to escape. It's either fight or flight. Most people don't have it in them to fight. So they think flight. And when you get to the wall where there's nowhere else to go and you feel it at the end of the road, what's the next thought? That's why they decided to make it legal for people now to sign up for assisted suicide. Because they're psychologically, subliminally encouraging you to do it. So they can write it in here, right, in your medical files. To justify them fucking killing you when you go back and they inject you with something. Just saying. Reported her appetite to be adequate. She also reports ongoing suicidal ideations with no plans or attempts. Well, of course not, because her mother, me, was a battle axe. Right? I kept the house together, people. Right? I held the torch and encouraged everybody to stay strong, including ShaMay. And she did, because when she graduated from high school, she graduated with honors. So she obviously took my advice. Because if she was that depressed, her grades would have went and she would have gotten a big fucking F. And she didn't. She is never self-harmed. She also reports generalized worries and catastrophizing her thoughts. That's because she was wordy. She was very academic with the English language. She even tried to teach herself how to speak a different language and write and read. I have her work where she was like me, right? You write, read, and say it. She had a high IQ. Of course she's thinking. There is no history of any obsessions, compulsions, or hoarding behavior. There is no history of any hypomania or mania. I don't know what that is. No, she liked to play piano and she wanted to go to school, but she couldn't when she was 12 years, 13, 14 years old because Alana was too busy stalking her from school to school. So ShaMay stayed home, and then when she did finally go back to school, she settled in and she was extremely happy to be at high school, but then the social workers came in and fucking sabotaged it. And then, yeah, basically made everybody in the house suicidal. Well, the cops took that as their cue to say, oh, ShaMay killed herself, when in fact she was murdered, but they needed something to cover up her murder. So they said, oh, here, it says right here, she was suicidal in 2013. Yeah, all right, yeah, okay. Now we know why you guys target who you target, because you go into their medical files in the hospitals and the clinics, and you find the ones that are vulnerable, so that when you do finally get them fucking murdered through your handlers in the community, you can come back and cover up the dirt by saying, well, it says here in 2010 they were suicidal, so therefore they must have killed themselves with an overdose of fucking fentanyl. No, motherfucker. No, motherfucker. ShaMay was murdered. There is no statute of limitation on murder. She reports having extreme issues with anger. We all were angry. She wasn't the only one. She also reports difficulties in interpersonal relationships, especially with conflict with her mother. Well, we were still at that parent-teen conflict period in our lives, because, you know, you have to guide your children, right? You got to try and keep them on the path of being on the straight and narrow, right? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, go back to school, suck it up, buttercup. We'll just go to court and we'll keep fighting for Andre, right? What can we do? We just got to stick together, as Uncle John would stick together as a family, as Uncle John would say. We'll get through it together. We'll get Andre back. You stay focused at school. And she did. And she passed with honors. But of course we argued along the way, right? There are no peer problems. Okay. What do we got? Alright, and then I guess this is the next page. Page 2. She denied any other major traumatic events. She also has been in an unhealthy relationship with a boyfriend. That was Freddie. Okay? She was still with Freddie. Alright? She has never had any psychiatric assessment prior to this current assessment. She has never been on any medications. She didn't need it. She was brilliant. But she was stifled. Yep. Substance use history. Substance use history is relevant for the use of cannabis on a recreational basis about once every month. She reported that the cannabis helps her to be relaxed, and to help her sleep. She denies the use of any other drugs or alcohol. She was a brainiac. I don't even think she was smoking pot. Only maybe to fit in with the crowd in terms of when all the girls got together and, you know how girls are. Right? But yeah, no, brainiacs, they don't like to fry their brains, people. Right? Just saying. Medical history. Unremarkable. She is physically healthy and there are no allergies. Medications. Her only medication include birth control pills. Okay? Which can compromise mood. Let's be realistic here. Okay? I mean, she was 17. Her hormones were still not fully set. You know, she was still growing. She shouldn't have been on birth control, but at least she was trying to be responsible. Developmental history. Her mother reported that the pregnancy was unplanned. No reported exposure to any toxic substances in utero. Her mother reported that the pregnancy was, I read that. Delivery was normal. ShaMay was noted to be a healthy, happy baby. She was breastfed. All developmental milestones were noted to be normal. She was noted to have a happy temperament and was socially well adjusted. It's all true, people. School history. School history is rather patchy. Her mother reported that she had some early problems and was apparently homeschooled for some years. When she was in kindergarten, by the 9th month, she was so happy to be in school, but for whatever reason, the Chinese teacher slapped ShaMay on the face because ShaMay wouldn't get off the slide and go in from recess. So when ShaMay got home, and then when we went to go try and take her back to school, she refused to go to school. She wouldn't walk with John. I tried to take her. She wouldn't walk with me. She was having a bloody fit. I asked her what was going on. She told me that the teacher slapped her on the face. I said, oh, okay, so you don't want to go to school? She said, no, I'm not going to school, you know, blah, blah, blah. I went to go talk to the principal. The principal accused ShaMay of lying. I told him I don't believe that my daughter is lying. There's no reason for her to be happy one day, be happy for 9 months straight, and then all of a sudden just stop, put her heels to the ground and saying, that's it, I'm not going, because the teacher slapped me in the face, and because I was working, just starting on the nonprofit, I didn't want to bring scandal to the nonprofit by suing the fucking school board for their teachers smacking my kid's face. So I just brought her home. And I let her stay home for a couple of years, put her back in, and then we moved or whatever after that. She ended up in that school where she met Alana, and then the shit just started up with Alana, and I had to pull her out because of Alana. And then when she went back in, she was doing really good. She loved it. She was excelling. Teachers, everybody loved her, but Alana was stalking her, so I had to pull her out again. Go fucking figure. And then she went back into grade 10 to high school on her own when she was ready, was pulling in honors right from the fucking get-go, right? But then they turned around and they took Andre, and she crashed. But she still kept up with the honors, and she still graduated, people. Okay? So fuck you, Tamika Johnson. You don't know what you're talking about, you little bitch. Because I know what you did. Your jealousy just couldn't fucking, you couldn't deal with it. Yeah. Because I know you're watching my videos. Are those little brain munchers getting in there? Huh? Are you having nightmares yet about what you did to ShaMay? I'd like to know. You ugly bitch. Seriously, you're an ugly fucking bitch. Reported that she had, okay, let's just get back to this. Alright, school history is rather patchy. Okay, she was also, alright, so here we go. School history is rather patchy. Her mother reported that she had some early problems. Talked about the kindergarten with the smacking of the face, and she refused to go, right? And then put her back in. And then from one school she was fine, then we moved to the apartments, and then she started going to another school. That's when she met Alana, and then issues started over with Alana and the fucking principal, because they protect the natives out here, because the natives can basically do what they want when they want, right? And everybody caters to them, right? You know, and ShaMay was kind of sticking up for Alana, and then the freaking principal just turned around and fucking attacked ShaMay. And then wanted me to do this, that. And I said, to hell with you, I'm just taking her out of school. Like, fuck you. I brought her home. And that's when she started to learn how to play piano. Yeah. School due to conflict with another youth. Alana. Yeah. Yeah. She was also, okay, so problems, and was apparently homeschooled for some years. She was also suspended from school due to conflict with another youth. No, she didn't have conflict with, well, I don't know. It was like Alana was doing something that out in the playground. This was in grade 5, okay? And there were girls were out on the playground doing something, I don't know. Teacher came along, said something to Alana. Alana did back, teacher blah, 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 and then ShaMay came in, intervened, tried to rescue Alana, and then because of that, now the teacher's attacking ShaMay, and because ShaMay, you know, when she's under stress, she would smirk, right, and you know, kind of posture. The teacher seen it as being intimidating, so it went to the principal office. They wanted to suspend her for a week. I said, for what? Oh. I said, to hell with you. I'm just pulling her out of school, because from what you're telling me, it sounds like you're not dealing with the problem, to which was Alana, right? You shifted it onto ShaMay, right? And because ShaMay, you know, like I said, she was trying to rescue Alana, and all the attention went on ShaMay. Just stupid shit. Like, just stupid shit. Right? They just stupid shit, people. They don't like the school. The public school system doesn't like gifted kids. They don't. Not unless they can completely control them and mold them into what they want. Then, yeah, maybe. But if they see a child is highly IQ, highly gifted, smack them on the face when they're little, right? Shift the issue of something going on with one student onto ShaMay to distract away from the other student, so the other student can continue acting bad, but punish ShaMay for it, because ShaMay doesn't realize that she shouldn't be getting herself involved, but she felt that she needed to rescue her friend from the teacher who was being overzealous with Alana, right? Anyway, ShaMay reported that ShaMay reported that she has bullied other youth when she was younger. Well, I don't know about that. Doesn't ring a bell, but anyway, currently she attends Quaton Park Secondary School and is doing grade 11 work although she is in grade 12. Yeah, because she was homeschooled, right? So she went in and was playing catch-up. But she did graduate grade 12. Like she did 10, 11, and 12. She was noted to be a bright girl. She denied any individual education plan or school difficulties. No. She was an honor student. Social and family history. So much for being such a short video, eh? ShaMay does not have any contact with her biological father. That didn't come in until the last tail end of before she was murdered. Her mother is Judy and is 51. Oh, how I wish I was 51 again and could see, but that ain't gonna ever happen. ShaMay has 2 half sisters and 2 half brothers. I like how they do that, eh? There is a family history of depression in the mother's aunt. Yeah, my Auntie Jerry. She was really depressed, that one. And alcohol problems in the maternal grandmother. Uncle Nick was an alcoholic. Uncle Harry was an alcoholic. I think my grandfather was an alcoholic. My mother was an alcoholic. Interesting how they like to write this stuff down, though, eh? Yeah. Huh? So I guess the cops can come in and just pick out that one sentence. And if they need backup, well, it says right here, your family's fucked up. No wonder why you feel suicidal on this page. Uh-huh. Yeah. The mother also mentioned that on the parental side of the family, there is apparently bipolar illness. Well, I don't know who that would be other than maybe my Aunt Jerry. Paternal. Oh no, that would be on her father's side. Yeah, they have bipolar. That's why Sierra had bipolar. ShaMay half-sister has addiction issues. There was also mentioned that her half-brother may have been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Brooks likes to drink. Mental status examination. On mental status examination, she was appropriately dressed and for the most part pleasant and cooperative. She was relaxed at times, although when discussing things with her mother, she became quickly escalated, and there was quite a lot of verbal conflict between the mother and daughter throughout the appointment. Speech was spontaneous, and as long as she was describing her symptoms, she was fluent. But her speech was pressured from time to time, especially when talking about the events that were going on. Well, yeah, if you're going to go on talking on about, things that upset you, obviously you're going to have problems. But, mood, she reported feeling low and depressed. Affect was somewhat irritable. Thought process. There was no thought form disorder and no fight and no flight of ideas. Content. She reported feeling suicidal. There was no homicidal ideation and no psychotic symptoms. Her insight was intact. Impression. ShaMay is a 17-year-old girl who presents with extreme emotional dysregulation, anxiety, symptoms, and some depressive symptoms on a background of significant psychosocial factors. It was also observed that the interaction between ShaMay and her mother, Judy, often resulted in an escalating with them having verbal, here goes that parent-teen conflict, right? Arguments. They both noted that this was rather typical at home. In addition, there were some accusations by Judy with regards to the ministry and the apprehension of her grandchild. I am not aware of the details of the apprehension, and it appears that the Child Protection Services are involved. Okay? With looking at particularly ShaMay's symptoms, she meets the criteria for adjustment disorder at this point. Adjustment disorder. What is that? Diagnosis. Adjustment disorder. Borderline traits. No medical conditions. Significant psychosocial stress factors. Child-parent conflict. Yeah, you have to remember, Alana is getting, what is that called? Her own place for being a bad girl. Dropping out of school. Drinking all the time. And ShaMay couldn't figure out why the government was setting her up in her own place. So she'd go to school and she'd complain and cry on about it. And they'd say, well, does your mother provide you with a roof over your head? Do you have food? Do you have a bed? Do you have clothes? It's yes. Yeah, well, then suck it up, buttercup, right? Because she was pulling in honors, so it wasn't like she was a bad girl, so she didn't qualify for services, literally. So she got mad, right? She got mad, and we used to argue about it, right? I had to try and educate her on this subject. It took a while, though. Eventually, she clued in, and then she came back and she apologized to me for the way she was treating me at that time, in around this time. Because it was like, you know, it's a combination of, it wasn't just all Andre. There was other things like Alana and whatever, right? Sierra and just whatever. Having problems with her boyfriend. I'm telling her to leave him. She's saying, well, right, you know, whatever. Stupid shit. Parenting's not easy, people, man. It's so draining. Yeah. Serious. Plan. Here's the plan, okay? ShaMay certainly reports some coping strategies. In addition, she does report significant emotional dysregulation. She was hoping to have some medication to help contain her, well as address her ongoing suicidal ideations. I don't believe that. We never went in there asking for fucking medication. No. She wasn't hoping for that, people. This is the doctor writing that in to justify the prescription that's in this book. Because if ShaMay really wanted to have that, she would have filled it out. Okay, it's right there. And there's another one here. I'm not sure what this one is. But it didn't get filled out either. I don't even know what it's for. Like I said, brainiacs normally don't like to cloud their minds. Okay. We discussed in length about the medications and whether it would be helpful given her escalating behavior and the significant psychosocial stress factors. So yeah, we're just gonna take your nephew, turn your house upside down, turn your sister back into a junkie, worse than a drug addict now, right? And we're going to just mask that all over, mask it over, right? We're not going to acknowledge that. We're not going to see that as the stressor. We're not going to try and figure out how to get Andre back and help Sierra. Fuck that shit. That's not important. What we're going to do is we're going to find a means to drug you up, to mask all that so that you forget it happened. That's how we're going to solve the problem. Right? And once we get you addicted to those drugs, then their problems are solved. Because then they'll never be held to account for what they did. And they'll just go off and do it again to somebody else, time after time after time after time. And that's what they do. Yeah. Okay. So, we discussed in length about medications and whether it would be helpful given her escalated behavior and the significant psychosocial stress. Now you have to remember, if she was doing that bad, in terms of whatever we were bickering her on about, trust me, I didn't have to be there. She could have told me to fuck off. Okay, now I don't remember how we got there. I'd have to look more into her medical files. I don't know if I drove her there or what. I can't remember. Anyway, I was there though. Right? A trial of antidepressants. A trial. Yeah. Stressors, okay, factors. A trial of antidepressants may help attenuate some of the problems. Given this, I did recommend trial of antidepressant medications. Her mother, Judy, was clearly unhappy. Yeah, and still am, with ShaMay going on antidepressants, as she believes that ShaMay may become addicted to these medications. Yeah, that's what they're designed for. Joan Duncan 15 pills later, let's sit on the bed, open up the pill bottles, and have a fucking party. Okay? Just saying. I attempted to provide some psychoeducation around the length of medication, its potential benefits, as well as discussing all the risks. However, the mother is not convinced. In view of this, I suggested that they have a prescription, and I gave a prescription for Cialexa, starting at a dose of 5 mg and increasing it to 10 mg with a total prescription length for 4 weeks. I have suggested, don't people start like really doing crazy shit on this stuff? Like, I don't know about this particular drug, but like on like antidepressants. Some people have really bad reactions to those kind of things. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I have suggested that they make an appointment with their family physician, Dr. Vasinski, as soon as possible, and discuss about ongoing medication. In the meantime, it will be essential that ShaMay is referred to child and youth mental health to develop some coping strategies. ShaMay has been referred to child and youth mental health. In the meantime, it is hoped that her family physician, Dr. Vasinski, could monitor her antidepressant medication. So that's their solution to illegally apprehending children, small children at that, as they throw out vulnerable women into the street in the middle of winter with absolutely no resources. Yeah. Knowing that they're going to turn into junkies. Yeah. Okay. So, instead of helping with that situation and acknowledging it, that it was wrong what the government workers were doing, so that ShaMay's feelings could be justified in terms of she knew it was wrong, but everybody around her, when it came to a so-called public union sector worker, was in complete denial and saying, no, we, they had the right to do it, but we just won't talk about it, and we're just going to prescribe you some medication so that hopefully you'll fucking forget about it. But don't worry, you won't get addicted to it because you're only going to be on it for 4 weeks. But make sure you go back and talk to your doctor so that he can re-prescribe it to you. As we convince you that you need to go off and start this counseling session with this person and that person so they can fuck your head over and confuse you that whatever you think that you're thinking isn't right because they tell you so. ShaMay was that. She stayed focused on her school. She graduated with honors. She met Julian. Fuck. No, then they took John. That's what happened, people. Then they went after John and they took John. And then she met Julian. And then she was targeted for her organs. ShaMay was discharged from the emergency room. So as a mother, I was there with her. I did the right thing. Okay. I must have drove her. I don't know. I don't remember. All I know is this is what the cops used to cover up her murder. And I think that lawyer should know that. Yeah. I don't know where the plastic is. All looks the same. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there.